Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and members, please bear with me. I've never actually invoked this rule, so this is a first for me, and I'm sure it's a first in a long time for this chamber. But, Mr. Speaker, I'll be invoking House Rule 24 and reading an official protest letter signed by 24 of my colleagues.
Yeah, thank you, Representative Williams. And give me one quick second to read the rule to everybody so that they have it. Rule 24 in the House rules is the protest rule. Any member shall have the right to protest any action of the House, stating the reasons therefor, and having obtained consent of the House and reduce the reasons to writing. The member may have the same entered in the journal, provided such reasons do not impugn the motives or character of any member of the General Assembly. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll just go ahead and read this, members, and then we'll go from there. Pursuant to Rule 24 of the Colorado House of Representatives, we submit this letter as an official protest of the planned use of Joint Rule 44G, which undermines the constitutional role of the legislature under the Colorado Constitution. Colorado citizens are struggling with job, health, and economic uncertainties. We cannot continue to delay the vital work of the legislature to get Colorado families back on their feet. This improper action lays the groundwork for transitioning Colorado's lawmakers away from being part-time citizen legislators to full-time professional politicians. Many of our rural colleagues have agricultural work that necessitates the length of our regular sessions remaining within the traditional time frame the voters established. Additionally, our suburban and urban colleagues, who are already hard-pressed to find private sector work under the normal length of the regular session, will be even more unlikely to find unemployment elsewhere if the legislature meets throughout the year under Joint Rule 44G. Two outcomes are very likely to occur if we continue down this path. Either the General Assembly will be comprised of independently wealthy or retired individuals, or the taxpayers will see an increase in the cost of compensation and benefits to lawmakers in order to maintain the diverse socioeconomic membership it currently enjoys. These outcomes would unfairly harm the voters who intended to create and maintain a part-time legislature in the first place. The General Assembly exists to deliberate and develop workable solutions for all Coloradans. Its diverse composition and lawmaking processes ensure that a variety of perspectives are considered before a course of action is determined. In these times of emergency, especially when the state is considering whether to impose restrictions on economic activity or personal liberties, it is eminently important for the legislature to meet, to lead, and to resolve these issues. By scheduling our regular sessions in fits and starts during a declared disaster emergency, the General Assembly is effectively abdicating its authority and duty to represent the people's will to the executive branch. In the current instance, we have seen the executive branch legislating unilaterally for over 300 days through the promulgation of countless executive orders. CRS 24-33.5-7044 allows the governor to renew emergency declarations, but the provision was never intended by the legislature or the people to allow those powers to continue unabated. There have been nearly as many executive orders in the last year as the amount of bills passed in an average legislative session. The governor's emergency powers must be limited, otherwise our system's checks and balances are circumvented and the legislature's lawmaking authority is usurped. These orders have dealt with COVID-related matters, but they have also gone beyond the realm of the virus to advance other priorities that deserve debate. Due process requires that citizens have an opportunity to be heard, especially before their liberty interests are infringed. By allowing the executive branch to continue under this current course, issuing orders without meaningful citizen input, due process is threatened. The danger of allowing the executive branch to usurp the power of the legislature by making orders that go beyond the law is a threat to the liberties of the people guaranteed by our Creator and our Constitution. While the state has no credible justification to arbitrarily classify businesses as essential or non-essential, for it is not the job of the state to pick winners and losers, if we are going to do so, it must recognize that the legislative branch falls under the category of essential. Our constituents expect us to work, to represent them. Like the vast number of other state legislatures, we can develop protocols to ensure the public health. It is no more dangerous for us to meet than it was for shopping mall employees to work during the Christmas rush or Walmart employees to work every day. It's unconscionable that the General Assembly would potentially take multiple recesses during a declared disaster emergency when taxpayers, many of whom have lost their livelihoods, are counting on us to resolve this matter as quickly as possible so that they can return to their normal lives. We are their employees, and they are our boss. They are providing us a paycheck while many of them go without. We respectfully disagree with this decision to allow the majority to count calendar days non-consecutively. The term calendar days is not vague or ambiguous. As the voters understood it when they passed Amendment 3 in 1998, the plain meaning is that of 120 consecutive 24-hour periods running from midnight to midnight, with the first day beginning at, quote, 10 a.m. no later than the second Wednesday of January of each year, end quote. We also believe this undermines the role of the legislature and our constitutional system and separation of powers and checks and balances. Respectfully signed, myself, Representative Dave Williams, Representative Kevin Van Winkle, Representative Patrick Neville, Representative Shane Sandridge, Representative Kim Ransom, Representative Stephanie Luck, Representative Ron Hanks, Representative Janice Rich, Representative Matt Soper, Representative Mark Catlin, Representative Rod Pelton, Representative Mark Baisley, Representative Mike Lynch, Representative Tanya Van Beber, Representative Rod Bockenfeld, Representative Mary Bradfield, Representative Terry Carver, Representative Tim Geithner, Representative Richard Holtorf, Representative Andy Pico, Representative Perry Will, Representative Dan Woog, Representative Colin Larson, Representative Hugh McKean. Mr. Speaker, I ask that in accordance with House Rule 24, that this written letter be entered into the journal.
Thank you, Representative Williams.